scheduling, I just emailed again for that. Charlie always loves it when I do this. RTU 10 and 11 at the courthouse are heating and air conditioning for the lobby area, and they are both down right now. So I've had that looked at. If I go to okay from you, we'll get the big one up and running, which will get their heat. So I brought that with me to get that approved. It's just the parts that it needs, that'll get the heat back for them. I've got a time set up to meet with Terry to get ideas on building a stage so we can get this raised up. And for Jim at the airport, now that you've got the new manager, Terry and I'll get with you to set up a time that we can get out there and go over the stuff that you wanted for the building.
Is it still set for tomorrow?
It's set for tomorrow if that works for you.
Okay.
Okay. Guys have been working on filter changes for all the different locations since the weather's changing over. We have to clean out. I got the okay to go ahead and clean out. They're done with the work for the new IT stuff in courtroom C, D, and the jury assembly. So there's a lot of old electronics. So I think probably my best bet is to get pictures and maybe get with you and see what we want to keep and what needs to go away and what we have to sign off on. So there's a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Terry, I talked to Terry Sullivan again the other day, and I think he's getting things ready to start on the voters project over at the courthouse, do the work for Tammy in the voters area. And over here, housekeeping is in the process of getting all the third floor. They're doing the carpet cleaning up there. So they told me this morning all of the glass offices, that whole area's been cleaned. So they're going through so that when the sheriffs are ready to move in, the carpet's all clean and ready for them. Good. That's all I got.
All right, appreciate it. Public Works, right.
Good morning. I'll try to keep this brief. I know we got a lot on the agenda. We recently picked up a new vendor for a potholing company. They're called Rock Asphalt. And what it does is it allows us to patch potholes up to negative 40 degrees. If we ever get to that, we've got other issues to deal with. But it also allows us to do it if there's water in the pothole because it works off compression. And it's immediately, you can drive over it immediately. You don't have to worry about tar or anything like that. So it's good for vehicles. And the more you drive over it, the harder it gets. We've had fantastic responses, and the product is guaranteed for at least 3 years. The company's been in business for almost 125 years. So we're really happy with that. We've had the guys out there using it, and they're tickled to death with it. And so we're really happy with that. The Clear Creek Offsite Safety Project that is being funded through GDOT was supposed to go out to let this month. I spoke with Joe Chavarro from GDOT. That is going to be let in February of 2026, and that is going to be, they're going to be doing repairs and replacement of a lot of the signs and the asphalt, 5.7 miles of Clear Creek, which would leave 1.15 miles left unpaved, and that's just because they ran out of funding. So next month, when I get before you guys for the 2026 LNIG, that's going to be one of my recommendations, is that we use the LNIG money to pave the remaining 1.15 miles. So that way, Clear Creek in its entirety will get paved out in 2026. So we won't have that little tag of just beat up road to take care of. And then we're still working on the bridge. We're waiting for some supplies to come in on that. Moving on to solid waste, we've got both pre-crushers up and running, and we're doing the trending on our pulls. This last month, we went from 19 pulls on average down to 9. We're getting about 8 tons, where before we were getting 2 per open top, 2 to 3. And if the cost keeps going, we're saving about $1,800 a month as those pre-crushers installed. Other than that, we're just trying to answer the calls as they come in and do the best we can. That's it.
Thanks, Mayor.
All right, thank you.
Animal shelter.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Animal shelters operate normally. We're fully staffed, which has been very helpful. With the exception of our front desk person, she's out this week. Her husband had surgery, so we are doing our best to stay on top of phone calls and messages and such. But we have been able to continue to respond to all of our animal control calls in a timely manner. Our new shelter coordinator has been hard at work lining up transports. We had one last week, we've got one this week, and we had one set up to go to Miami with 11 dogs, but they canceled on us. They've had some adoption events, and they have not been as fruitful as they anticipated. So they kind of had to scale back on what they were taking in. So, but we're hoping we're going to reconnect in a couple of weeks and see where we're at. Maybe we can still get some out. Adoptions have been phenomenal, so we're thrilled with that. Got a couple new projects we're going to start. Just got approval for a new puppy enrichment area and some catios for the cats. We're going to get started on that. Our contractor's going to be traveling a little through the holidays, so as soon as he gets back, I'm going to get started on that. And I don't know if you guys have been into Canterbury's lately, but they've got a tree set up in the corner with ornaments of all of our animals on there, and a QR code on the back that goes straight to our wish list on Amazon. So, and then they have a box where you can just drop off donations, and donations have been flowing in from there and just from our community to the shelter, which has been wonderful. We can use that certainly. And that's about all I've got, other than I would be remiss if I didn't continue to mention that we still have 2 pigs for adoption. So if anybody's looking for a couple pet pigs, they're neutered and have all their vaccines and they're ready to go. We do have something set up for them potentially in March. But if we could get something before March, that would be fabulous. But if not, we've at least got that to look forward to.
I saw the pictures of the thank you.
Oh, yes, yes.
I think it's great. I understand what they're doing. Everything for Christmas.
Oh, yeah, it's a duplicate day. The only thing in addition to Christmas is they all get toys. Mountain Hounds comes out and donates a lot of toys, so they all get to have a toy on that day as well, yeah. Yeah, so it's, those are the 2 best days in the shelter. I mean, everybody just, that parking lot was so full. When I pulled up, I was like, oh my gosh, we're going to park. You know, so it was a big turnout. It gets bigger every year.
You know, when we adopted Callie, as we were walking out of the cemetery, they had a space where they had all the toys for the dog.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting there. She never broke stride as she was walking by. She would grab her.
She knew she was a dog with a strong decision making. I like that.
Yeah. Kelly, but I'm thinking one more.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you all.
There are 2 rezoning requests, personnel located, planning board is recommended. Approval of the application of Sonia Casey. You have everything in order over there?
These are 2 change of ownership alcohol license, so therefore it has to come to you and your approval now.
Morning, Kimberly Reckles, Gilmer County citizen, and I'm concerned about some items, and I'd like to take a moment to discuss those with you. Before this board this month, there are items that pertain to appointments. There are 8 appointments on 4 boards that you all would be deciding who's going to fill those positions. If you continue with the previous pattern of selecting the same folks, the same faces in the same way, you are going to continue to have a battle, an unnecessary battle, with citizens of Gilmer County to be included and for transparency. So unless you all would like to continue to battle for transparency, I suggest you adopt a methodology implemented by surrounding counties. That process includes putting out a public notice, searching for individuals with expertise in the areas of those boards. Secondly, any conflicts or any personal objectives for their own benefit would be disclosed, so on and so forth. That is in Cherokee County, that is in Pickens County, that is in Fannin County. This morning I read in the the Fannin paper, that since they've got a new board, that their attorney advised them against selecting individuals with whom they've had previous conversation, predetermining outcomes, and ethics questions. So those are my comments for this morning. I do understand that the last meeting, I'm sorry I missed, where Mr. Paris took the opportunity to excoriate members of this community for asking questions, for asking for transparency.
Not that anybody would know, because in the guise of transparency, they cut that part out of the video.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned it. It is not the citizens' obligation to record these meetings. You see my camera sitting over there?
No, you're recording.
We heard Eric?
You're recording.
Sir, I have a very limited time to get it all out.
Oh, I'm
and
not
talk
gonna
about
hold you to that if I take some of your time, and I'm gonna take some of that time.
Well, I'd like to finish my point first. The reason why it's not released is because you don't get to excoriate members of the public who ask questions. And
I
then,
get to
have
call
them,
them. I get to
if
call
you
them.
want it out there, you should have recorded
I
it.
get to call out members of the public who put out misinformation and outright lies.
They wouldn't be out there if you presented information and documentation to the public to see with their own 2 eyes and hear with their own 2 ears.
Well, if
That's
you're
your
going to be
responsibility.
selective
That's
about
this
what,
board's
if
responsibility.
y'all are going to be selective about what you're going to show in your videos that we say, if you're going to edit your videos, much like BBC, it really is not going to matter much what we say.
I'm me. I'm an individual. I'm Kimberly Reckles, okay? I'm not Gilmer Citizens Forum, and I'm not anybody else, okay? I'm Kimberly Reckles. I wasn't there that meeting to record it. If you will look and see anything that I have recorded, I've presented the entire thing, with the exception of one young man who, after the short-term rental meeting, was embarrassed and said, Mrs. Reckles, can you please omit my statements made at the podium tonight, and I consented to that. But I'm very much about transparency and openness, and I would not omit anything and present clips. If you know those did not come from me. So that point that you make is directing at me and trying to turn it back at me is very, very much what I've experienced for the last several years, which is why I've come to this podium oftentimes hostile, because I'm treated as a hostile just for asking questions.
Has it ever occurred to you that you're treated as a hostile because you're hostile?
I am. Oh, yes. I'm cantankerous. I'm straight up cantankerous after several years. I'm not going to deny that.
Let me make a couple of points now. What you said is that if we continue with our selections for these boards as before, that the fight will continue with certain members of the county. I'm pretty sure that fight's going to continue no matter what we do. It's just going to be a question of what that group decides that they're going to look at next. I really believe sometimes they wait to see what our position is so they'll know what their position is.
Well, I mean, I would love to advise them, you are always going to do what best serves the county board and not the citizens of Gilmer County. I would advise them, because that's historically what the facts lay out. I started out this process, as I tried to mention before, in the previous meeting. I started the process out just, sir, ma'am, hi, I'm a concerned Gilmer County citizen, and I would like to tell you how worried I am about this new subdivision you're going to be looking at on 282. See, I feel like that's a bad decision. I'll tell you why. Now, that's how I started. Can you tell me why we aren't asking developers to make a contribution to infrastructure? Well, there are no impact fees, sir. Can you explain? I asked very logical, very calm, very roll
didn't
video,
get
because
answer
you all used to record the meetings. You all used to. And I think that a lot of people in this room don't know that. It's where I used to get my information. When you stopped putting that on the internet is when I started showing up. Why did I start showing up? Just putting two and two together, because the information was not free-flowing anymore. I had to show up. I am here as a byproduct of your policies, not to create the policies. But I do want to tell you that it should be a policy adopted by this board to be inclusive of the community.
Let's talk about creating policies. And I'm going to make a statement to you that I've made to Mr. Rink multiple times, but he doesn't care. You might not. Just because you don't like something does not mean that the rest of the people in Gilmer County cannot have it. And of course, I'm talking about the rec center. The amount of absolute misinformation and flat out lies that have been coming through that group, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying that group of which you are one, is amazing to me. And that's what I was pointing out to Mr. Rink. Apparently he felt that disclosure and transparency wasn't required from his end. So therefore he had everything I said out. Your video in the meetings, but anything that's said that you don't want people to hear gets edited out.
Record your own meetings, sir. Record your own meetings.
I'm happy to do that.
Available to the
I'm
public,
happy
like
to do
Pickens
that.
does, like Bannon does, like
I'm
Charity does,
happy
and
to do
everybody else.
that, but that doesn't relieve y'all from the idea, if you're going to make a recording and you're going to put it up in the public, if you're going to start editing things out of it, that's wrong. Now, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it, and I can't stop you from doing it, but do not preach to me about transparency while you're doing that.
Well, I didn't do any such thing.
Well, your group did it.
I don't have a group. I'm an administrator of Keep Gilmer Rural. I don't have a group. I am not in any leadership. I don't have any decision making. With Gilmer Citizens Forum, they are a citizen-led group that discusses concerns about the county, and so naturally, I participate in their meetings.
Let me make one final comment. Your reference to the people that we appoint to the board, I assume that means that we need to support to appoint some of your folks to the board, or some of those members.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
Well,
that. I don't want to be in one of the boards. You know why?
Yeah,
I'm much
I'm
better
not
at
saying
serving the
you
community
should.
where I'm at.
I'm saying, what I'm getting from that is that you feel that there should be some of the people
No.
in this group appointed to the board.
That's not what I didn't say that.
Well, that's good,
I
because-
said it because the advertisement should be put out to the public.
That's good,
To
because
the public to
last
put their
thing
applications in.
Ever is vote to put any of those people on any board. I don't need that kind of chaos.
Well, see, this is why it's not chaos. See, a
According to you, it's
healthy debate is good for America. It's good for Gilmer.
A healthy debate is, yes, but
Yes.
just lying and carrying on is not.
We just came out from under a government that tells the people what it's going to do and what it's going to accept, and they keep their mouths shut. We are not under that government anymore, and I expect that this board would follow suit. Thank you.
Years in the media, covering small-town city councils, major metropolitan governments.
That's not a positive in today's media.
Well, I think the things here in Gilmer County is just kind of lovely to play, let's just put it that way. I looked at the Georgia Handbook for County Commissioners, page 547, about how county commissioners are supposed to conduct their meetings. Under the heading decorum, quoting from the handbook, page 547, during all meetings, members are expected, members being the commissioners, expected to behave with dignity and conduct themselves in a professional and respectful manner. All remarks should be directed to the chair and not to individual commissioners, staff, or citizens in attendance. A commissioner should not speak at a meeting until recognized by the chair. All remarks should be addressed to the motion or agenda or the item being discussed. Personal remarks are inappropriate. They should be ruled out of order by the chair. That is not the way some of our recent meetings have been conducted.
A personal remark, Doug, would be, I don't like you. A professional remark would be, what you're doing is not right. You're providing misinformation, you're doing outright lies. Another professional remark, and this does pertain specifically to you, is if you're gonna come in and record the meetings, and then you're gonna edit your recording, and then you're gonna preach to us about transparency, I got a problem with that. And those are professional remarks, not personal. I have a problem with anybody doing what you're doing.
When you watch television news and they report on government meetings, do they make the full hour, 2, 3 hours available? No. What I reported, and what you seem most upset about, is that I reported you recommended the cost of living adjustment be taken from 5% down to 3%.
Okay, and there is the misinformation.
You recommended.
No, what we did was we were having a discussion, though, we never could get you to understand that. We were in a budget meeting, we were talking about, we've got to cut an X amount of money. Where are we going to do it? We talked about making cuts in all kinds of different places, but you went berserk when we mentioned cutting from 5 to 3. It was a discussion we were having. It was not,
Was it your recommendation?
I don't make recommendations in those meetings, we just discuss what we can do.
Did you not say you don't see any way to handle the budget without that cut?
Probably, I don't recall that, but probably. So.
That's what I reported.
That's not what you reported.
That's what I reported.
Okay, well, in your mind, maybe that's what you reported. But let me say this. I better not. I'll just say, every time I read anything you write, every time I hear anything that you have to say, 2 things come immediately to mind for me. I'll let you figure out what they are.
The level of hostility in this county, much of it originating from this board.
No, much of it directed to this board.
Well, I don't know, I was told the other week I had a death threat against me. I was told that, posting on Facebook after some of the comments that you had posted on Facebook. That I would make the same thing as Charlie Kirk. I would never hear the sound of the gunfire. Now, this is the kind of animosity this commission stirs up with comments like happened at that gas
What's your
station.
first death threat? Because I've got the number based on what y'all are saying.
Well, this is the kind of, I have made no disparaging remarks about that. I have not called you a liar.
Oh, yes, you have.
I have not.
You said Charlie Perez has lied to you.
I have, you show me where that is, sir.
I'm not where I can.
I bet you're not.
I had to.
This is serious stuff, Mr. Parrish. This is serious. I've also been told that the committee and the Parks and Rec Advisory Board signed off on the location for the rec center. Who were the individuals brought in on that discussion and deliberation?
Well, first of all, nobody from that board had to sign off on anything. We did bring them in and discuss it with them because what's the point of buying a location that they have problems with and then give them an opportunity to point out any of those problems? They doesn't have any.
I'd like to go back and revisit the video, but they seem to declare no knowledge of anything in the works at the last meeting that they had. This is not transparency. It's not transparency.
So every time we're thinking of making a commercial real estate purchase, we're supposed to come and broadcast to everybody, here's what we're thinking about, what do you think?
Yes.
You don't do that in a commercial real estate environment.
I conducted an environmental site assessment on that building.
We're conducting it right now, because again, in commercial real estate transactions, you go ahead, make the deal, and then you have a period where you can do all that and do your due diligence. We're doing that now. We're in the process. We've done a phase 1 EPD environmental study, and now we're in the midst of a phase 2.
Is the phase 1 available for public inspection?
I haven't seen it, but I can probably find it.
I would appreciate it being made available to the public in Gilmer County, and for the phase 2 when it's available.
We'll make it available to anybody that wants it.
Thank you very much. These are the kinds of things we ask for.
No, you don't ask for it. You demand it, and you call us names doing it.
I have not called you any names, Charlie, except Charlie.
Well, people would call me much worse. I don't worry about calling you misinformation and lies about me. Okay, does anybody else have anything else to do? Resolution on bids for the following: concrete and propane. Looks like we only got one bid for the propane. So you're okay with that? Final adoption on concrete. We got 2 bids for concrete. Okay. Is there a recommendation on that?
You can take a look at it, Charlie, I got a copy. Small binder full. My recommendation would be that we move forward with Southern Concrete Materials. They recently bought out Ridge Rock. And we've used them for we didn't know we used them. We used them for the bridge project, Ravencliff, and they've been fantastic. They've been able to get us supplies on short notice, and they've also provided a larger, basically, menu to choose from for what we need to do. That's my recommendation, that you all, amongst you 3.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Final adoption of cryptocurrency and data mining ordinance. Everybody confused? Final adoption of short-term rental ordinance. Adoption of first reader of land use procedures and standards ordinance. Everybody okay with that? Discussion and possible action, appointment of short-term rental board director. It's going to be my recommendation, get Mary Abernathy, be appointed as that director. I think she's done an incredibly good job so far in that position. Discussion and possible action approving short-term rental fine structure. I cannot find the fine structure, I've been looking for it, so
I'll have it to you.
if you can have it to me before the meeting. Have y'all?
I have it.
Discussion and possible action on appointment of 2 members to the Gilmer County Joint Development Authority. I will very proudly at our meeting nominate Les Rainey and Andre Marshall to be reappointed. Discussion and possible action on appointment of 2 members to the Planning Commission Board. I understand Laura Walker and Paul Mooney are both willing to serve again. So, discussion and possible action, 3 members to the Park and Recreation Board. I have 2 names, Jason Smith and Ellen Grant. Anybody know who the 3rd person is? Katie McDonald.
But nothing's changed.
Discussion of possible action on the annexation request of tax parcel 067-022. The one thing that I really need to point out before I see it on social media, Georgia's laws on annexation, and the annexation, are very specific. We can't just say, no, we don't like what they're wanting to do with it. I personally, no matter what they want to do with it, don't like the idea of somebody want to annex or de-annex, because wherever they are won't let them do whatever it is they want to do, so they figure we'll go to the other side and maybe they'll let us. But that is not a reason under Georgia law to deny an annexation request or a de-annexation request. I don't know of any legitimate reason to object to this.
No, I don't think.
Resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Gilmer County, Georgia, declaring results of an election held on November 4th, 2025, with certificate of the Board of Elections and Registration of Gilmer County. This is in reference to the T-Splosh. I'm sorry, Splosh. Everybody good with that?
Yeah, it looks like it's on.
Huh?
It looks like it's on.
It wasn't, the light was off.
Okay, discussion of possible action for adding Mitchell Wine as a service provider to the road management department in January of 2026. This is the group that Brian has mentioned.
Just a brief history. When Charlie hired me on as the assistant director, one of the things that he had tasked me with was getting a maintenance program up and running for our department. It's one of the easiest ways to catch a problem on big equipment is by the hour, because that's how they train machinery. So this is just this company, Mitchell One. They will allow us to put in as many assets as we need to. Some of the ones we've seen will cap it at 100. There's no cap on this. And this also provides wiring diagrams for some of the smaller units like our trucks and things like that. It also does inventory tracking. So as we get parts and things like that as well, we can track it. And it's on an annual subscription. So if we don't like it after the end of the year, we're not obligated. It'd be up to us to pick up the subscription again next year.
That is different.
Yeah. And that's in your budget, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll be able to cover it.
Any questions? Correct. Discussion of possible action on engagement with the services of a consultant for professional engineering, architectural, construction, planning, design, and construction services in connection with the airport, gas improvement plan, and Gilmer County Airport.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. During the month, the committee that you appointed to review engineering quotations for our airport engineer met. We had two submittals, one from Troy Engineering and the other from Beach Engineering. The committee received those quotations, or actually had one received the quotations, and we met in two different sessions. One to review the planning quotations submitted by both firms, and that was done on November the 19th. And the second one was Friday, November the 21st, where we reviewed the two proposals engineering phase of our needs at the airport. You have, we submitted to you a memorandum that actually outlines the two proposals and actually the way the committee voted for those proposals. And our recommendation, based on that review, is that Troy Engineering be selected for the next 5 years as the airport engineer. Troy Engineering has been our engineers for at least the last 15 years and possibly beyond that. Both proposals were excellent proposals. And we were delighted that we had another engineering firm that was interested in looking at us. I have those proposals if you would like to inspect them. I also have the grading sheets that we did, that the committee did on both proposals. But that is our recommendation. The contract, the existing contract with Troy Engineering expires this December the 20th. So we are kind of up against it to have an engineer selected before that contract expires. Any questions that you might have? And I have the other two members of the committee here, and I will say that our new airport manager was able, in an ex officio capacity, to sit in on those reviews. So Richard was actually present for both sessions.
I'm good.
I would like to see them, so if you want to email them to me or however.
No, you can't email them.
I never come by.
They're big documents, but we'll get you a copy of the proposals and a copy of the grading sheets.
Is it better if I come by, Jim?
Yeah, probably.
Go by the
Yeah.
airport? Is that what they
Yeah,
are,
you
or
can,
planning?
well, the proposals are in the planning and zoning office. You can use our conference room and spread them out and follow all the grading on both proposals.
Thank you. Does anybody need executive session? All right, so we're going to make a motion to go into executive session, real estate, there's no action, just. Sir. Okay.